Graduates, for years now, 3, 4, 5, maybe more years, you've been in and around this campus, in and out of almost every building, learning, studying, growing, socializing. Is that what we call it? All that to say, as you prepare yourself for the next stage in life, better said, the next chapter. In that chapter, it will likely involve moving, a new job, or maybe expanded responsibilities within your existing job. Undoubtedly, this chapter will prepare you for subsequent chapters involving things like kids, marriage, other jobs, other relocations, parents and supporting cast. For that same period of time, you've been supporting your student financially, in guidance and support, asking how they're doing, giving words of encouragement, providing that shoulder to lean on or sometimes to cry on. For you too, you're ending one chapter and starting another. What a mixture of emotions we all must feel today. Everything from excitement, maybe freedom, uncertainty, and even some fear. Today's a great day celebration at UW-Whitewater. First, graduates, congratulations again to you. You've heard the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. Parents, grandparents, siblings, friends, educators. With that village, congratulations to you all. As well, I'd like to just pay special honor to those who've earned their degree later in life. Lots of different challenges to deal with through that type of process. As well, again, 42% of all graduates today are first-generation graduates. So to you and your village, congratulations again. Great job, Jishu. That was fantastic. Chancellor Green, thank you. Provost Elrod, thank you as well. Dean Chenaway, thank you for endorsing me and helping set up this wonderful opportunity. To say I'm honored and humbled is an understatement. I was walking to reception last night and turned over to my wife and said, never in 100 years did I ever think I never even thought about something like this, much less the responsibility that I've got here in the next few minutes. Whitewater's graduated many notable individuals. One person just jumped out, Jeff Glassbrenner, a 98 graduate who lost a limb in a farming accident. He said this, he said, I hope my story inspires people to set goals and accomplish them, whether it's graduating or running a 5K. He went on to say, if a person with one leg can climb Mount Everest, what else is possible? In May of 2016, when he reached the summit, 7 other people that month on different expeditions perished. There's a long list of athletes, renowned business leaders, educators, politicians, activists that have graduated from this great university. Additionally, there's some people who've contributed to Whitewater that might surprise you. The great Walter Payton. All right. In 1933, Amelia Earhart gave a lecture here. In 1961, the Dr. Martin Luther King did a lecture here titled The Future of Integration. The list goes on, and there's a lot of names we don't know, but there's a lot of people out there living life in a very, very differentiated way. The word greatness emits some intriguing thoughts and sounds really compelling. At the same time, it's subject to great debate in its definition and its many caveats. Realizing your full potential is what we'll talk about in the next few minutes. Graduates, I got something for you. You will not realize your full potential unless you grab onto these 3 points. I'll add that realizing your full potential can be defined in a lot of different ways. And the beauty of it is a lot of that's individual. It's your own, it's a feeling. When one is living a fulfilled life, then they're in a position to realize their full potential. Now, wait a minute. You thought you were going to get a bunch of business talk, success principles, all that stuff. While that's important, what I've learned in the recent part of my journey is there's something more. There's something deeper above and beyond that every one of us aspires. For some, it's a strong drive, a big light. For others, it might be more subtle. But we all have this desire to realize our potential. And as a part of that, live a fulfilled life. So as I think about people realizing their full potential, I think of my parents. You can stand. You can't sit down. Sorry. I actually got to tell them what to do. I'll keep it brief. They met in Mississippi, fighting for equal rights during the Civil Rights Movement. Mom, thrown in jail 4 times because someone thought that there shouldn't be biracial dating. Mom, one of the most gentle people you'll ever meet, on an FBI watch list. Pop, sharecropper in Mississippi, supporting his family at age 5, picking cotton. Came up here to be a machinist, worked 3rd shift his entire career, so he could be home every day we got home and take care of us. Their car was blown up. There were multiple attempts on their life. It's amazing the lengths people go to when they're overtaken by fear. I needed to share a little bit with you about them so you have context on me. I'm forever grateful. Thank you. That's twice I got to tell them what to do. All right, 3 concepts. Concept number 1. We've got to keep growing. As humans, we're predisposed to learning and growing. So graduates, as you enter this next chapter, you need to be very thoughtful about where you want to grow, what skills you want to grow, why, and how. So you've been learning all these years, keep going. As an introvert, I knew I had to develop my soft skills and my speaking skills. I had an opportunity on behalf of my company to be the community service lead for a year. I wanted to give back, and this was an exciting way to do that. At the same time, I took the opportunity to develop my speaking skills. I went with middle schools, grade schools, high schools, some of the toughest communities throughout the Milwaukee area, and had countless presentations, and started to develop those skills. Seriously, what a powerful way to combine the idea of making an impact and developing oneself. As you can see, I still need to get out and do some more. About 3 years out of school, I joined a networking business where I was meeting people one-on-one, small group meetings in hotel rooms. That's where I really got my education and transformed my soft skills. What it all netted down to was finding the ability and developing the ability to figure out how to help people win. So whether you see yourself as a big leader in the future or you have no aspirations of leading, however you define that, what you'll find as you grow older is the extent to which you can develop those skills, what's important to you, you'll be able to help benefit even further. Now, some of you are scratching your head saying, gee, these sounds like servant leadership principles, and they are. So graduates, if you're unfamiliar with servant leadership, I would urge you as you dry out and relax from your celebrations in the next few days and weeks, that you pick up a book on servant leadership. I'll just tell you this. When I entered GE out of Whitewater, I was on a leadership program with literally the best pedigrees, people from the most renowned institutions on the planet. Amazing leadership skills, all that stuff, they had it. I can't tell you how many times I watched them squander opportunities to add value to the business and to grow themselves because they did not exercise those principles. We all have a purpose larger than ourselves. This also offers an opportunity to continue developing ourselves. Participating in cause-related efforts oftentimes provides a safe place to continue to grow and develop. And we talked about that sense of fulfillment. Contributing to something bigger than yourself is a key part of that equation. Concept number 2. Setbacks can help us spring forward. So this is not a new concept. It's something that's near and dear to my heart, so I want to share a few things with you. And on a broader scale, I'm sure you've heard that most people will tell you their biggest breakthroughs followed some sort of setback or failure. So as Dr. Elrod mentioned, I started as a chemical engineering major at Iowa State. After about 2 years, I dropped all my classes, tried to figure out what I was going to do, and I said, I'm going to be in this information technology thing. So I got my load filled up. First class I had was the simplest of all the classes. It was a programming class. 3 weeks in, I found myself failing. So I found a grad student for $9 an hour, and today's money, probably $30, and he helped me muscle my way through this course. And then when I got here to Whitewater, struggled a little bit here too, but I got a lot of support from the faculty and advisors and was able to muscle my way through. So setbacks along the way in technology, and then what have I been doing the last 20 years? Leading technology for some of the largest companies in the world. So setbacks, again, help you spring forward. A couple companies later, a $7 billion company, I was in the second wave of an executive leadership development program. It was a 3-day retreat. Top 20 executives in the whole company got invited. I was pretty young. And our CEO at the time was one of those amazing minds. He could put 3 words on a slide and talk for 15 minutes in eloquent detail. So fast forward, we're on the final night. Everyone's doing presentations. I've got my 3 words on a slide, and I absolutely fail miserably. I was traumatized. I remember clearly shaking in the airport because I had to call my boss, tell him I let him down, let our company down, and 3 months later, I was vice president, chief information officer of a Fortune 588 company. 35 years old and an officer of the company. Again, setbacks can help you spring forward. As a lot of you will find as you grow in your years, naturally you're going to develop from a leadership standpoint and find yourselves in leadership roles, again, even if you don't see yourself there. I had, and in that context, you will have to make tough decisions on business. And it's not just business. It could be in the church, it could be in your education institution, it could be anywhere. But certain times people aren't the right fit or circumstances change in the business, and you need to make some moves. So I had to do that throughout my career. And then I got my turn. I had a meeting with my boss. It moved from his office to a conference room right next to the entryway. I walked in the room, and there was a VP of HR and my boss, and 3 minutes later I was being walked out the door. Setback. Next thing you know, a few months later, new job. It allowed me to fund the business that I started 3 years ago. So again, setbacks become your spring forward. And by the way, especially those the higher you go up in businesses or organizations, whether it be education or otherwise, the bigger the target on your back, and these things happen. A lot of you know people who've gotten restructured, and it's just part of the deal. How about this one? So my parents, 53 years married. Happily, actually. Yeah, there you go. So I had the best example you could ever ask for. And 19 years into my first marriage, I got divorced. I felt like I let my parents down. I felt like I let my kids down, my siblings, myself, and many others. However, going through that process and some therapy and self-inspection, I'm healthier and happier than ever. Doesn't mean the pain isn't there and in those around me, but now I'm back on the horse. I'm remarried, blessed with new kids, new wife, extended family, and continuing my journey of development. So again, setbacks are fundamental to growth and realizing your full potential. Concept number 3. Graduates, I need you right here. We're almost done. Good is good. Be good. I mentioned earlier you're going to have to make tough decisions in whatever you go on to do. Quick story. There's a gentleman I hired, super smart, from one of the big 4 consulting firms. We worked together for a couple of years. He was a part of my organization. Good friends. And through a series of events, I had to let him go. Despite that, 3 weeks later, he got married, invited me to his reception. His parents insisted I sit at their table, and went on to tell me the impact that I made on their son. So, I was really, that was a reflection of a body of work. Being a good person, trying to help them win. So I tell you these stories not because they're about me, but these points hopefully make more sense when they have context. You won't remember me 10 years from now, but you might be in a situation where you're in this you have the same thing going on, and hopefully you can handle it the way you feel good about. It's interesting, especially parents, you'll get this. So as we get older, we get into this big pursuit of happiness. We do all this self-help, we read all these books, we get into all this wellness activity, we start eating better, sleeping more, exercising, and we're all in this search. Now let me ask you a question. If you're that troll on the internet, cutting people down, disrespecting folks, speaking ill of others, what kind of emotions do you think you're experiencing? And what's that doing to your road to wellness or road to happiness? If you're trying to get one over on someone, you may think you won, but in the back of your mind, there's something that you're not feeling right about because you know you didn't do right by that person. Not to mention situations where we run around with, we're family members, you might have kids. We're speaking ill of someone, judging people. What are we doing? What are we teaching our kids? So some of you grew up in this environment, and that's okay. Some of you might embody this environment, and that's okay too. The question is, what do you want for your next chapter and the chapters that follow? You can interrupt you can change and interrupt this pattern. Be good, be fulfilled, and realize your full potential. As we draw to a close, again, most times there's actually studies been done. Unless it's a celebrity, 10, 20 years later, no one remembers their commencement speaker. Hopefully, however, I do challenge you all to embrace some of these principles. Realize your full potential. Congratulations, Village. Congratulations, graduates.